Hi everybody. Now the cortisol, autoimmune and inflammatory connection, eh? Okay, let's get into it. I think this topic is really important because when our stress response system malfunctions, it is the cause of all inflammatory and autoimmune diseases. Knowing this gives us an understanding as to why, when it comes to stress and our health, there are things in our life that we must be aware of to be well-balanced, calm, healthy humans. Remember, the science says that 95% of all human illness is the result of a long-term overactive stress response. Now, keeping it really simple, as we have discussed, the stress response controls the amount of cortisol that is produced inside our body. And remember, when our reptilian brain perceives there is a threat to our survival, it is the increase in cortisol that keeps us on guard duty, wound up, not sleeping well, and even anxious, in order to direct all of our senses to find the threat and escape it or remove it. As the stress levels increase for any reason, our stress response naturally increases the cortisol levels yet again. Also, as we said in an earlier video, every time our stress response is activated, it also automatically activates our immune system and inflammatory response. They also naturally increase in activity and intensity every time the cortisol levels increase, which increases every time there is any additional sense of threat which our reptilian pea-brain is responding to. Phew, give us a break. Now this is the internal inflammation and immune response needed to fight any internal infections. But it is activated regardless of whether we are overstressed by our lifestyle or actually under attack by an infection or whatever. Over time, as the levels of stress further increase and the cortisol levels are not getting the time needed between stressful events to drain away, and remember that cortisol drains away very slowly, then our stress response triggers yet another increase in our cortisol levels, and it keeps accumulating. When the volumes get high enough, that increase signals our immune system into battle. Among other things, it floods our body with specialist cells which are programmed to look for any infectious invasions, attack them and eliminate them. That's all they do. They are ready to go to battle whether the infection exists or not. Isn't that crazy? Now, anytime when the stress response gets a signal from the reptilian brain that the threat is reducing, it is also the production of cortisol which will be reduced. But remember, it drains away very, very slowly. That reduction automatically instructs our immune system and inflammatory response that the initial threat, the one that triggered our stress response in the first place, has gone. The whole system can now calm down and revert back to a balanced state. But when those cortisol levels get too high for too long, the immune system response can become desensitized and flips into automatic. It stops responding to the signal of the increasing or decreasing cortisol levels. This means it ignores the instructions that the danger has passed. It ignores the signal to calm down and will even increase the intensity of the attack. Now, interestingly, the second line of command to the immune system comes from specific bacteria that live in our gut. That's right, it's bacteria that regulates and even controls our immune system response. That is why it is said that if you have autoimmune issues, then focus on getting your gut bacteria healthy. Usually, they have been killed off by the toxic environment inside our body created by the long-term elevated high-stress cortisol levels. But it could be anything. Prescription drugs is a big one. Toxic poisons, another big one. Overuse of antibiotics designed to kill bacteria, or even a lack of the correct food that they require to live on. Our immune system is now completely out of control and begins to target healthy body cells, seeing them as the enemy. And now we have a very dangerous autoimmune response because those specialist immune system attack cells are going to battle against our own body cells. Remember, this is the result of stress on our body and all of those stress hormones accumulating over a long period of time. Fortunately, it appears that on most occasions, this can also be turned around. What is clear is that we must proactively create a lifestyle with a lot less daily stress involved. Yes, so the cortisol levels never get so high inside our body or for so long ever again. Having your doctor test for morning cortisol levels is a simple and great indicator of our level of stress inside our body. Over time, we can see if it is increasing or decreasing as our stress levels increase or subside, and we can be more proactive with promoting a healthier lifestyle. Now remember, there is still no drug on the planet that can resolve this issue for us. Changing our lifestyle and reducing the stress levels can, and that's something that we can all do. Now, you thought it was more complicated than that, didn't you? Me, well, until 10 years ago, I didn't even know any of this even existed. So there we go. Food for thought, I hope. And remember, this is all good, sound science, but made uncomplicated by keeping it simple so we can understand it. Right? Right. Okay, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.